everyone. Welcome to the MOFI Corporate Governance Forum.
I think it's probably exceeded expectations. It's the very first event. You've had a full house, 2 days, and covered a vast array of topics, right? From both the role of the enterprises in the economy and how critical they are for Nigeria's future, through to the corporate governance and the role of the board of directors, the sustainability reporting, and the fiscal risks and the links with the public finance. So really quite a lot of material, and I think everybody's engagement has been very impressive.
MOFI is implementing a strategy as it's meant to. KPIs or targets are set at the beginning of the year. And so we take the time to assess that those targets have been met. We do a quarterly assessment. We report to the board as to how the strategy is being implemented.
Strategies for enhancing board effectiveness. Enhancing board effectiveness is crucial for state-owned enterprises to achieve their mandates and drive economic growth. Effective boards provide strategic guidance, oversight, and accountability, ultimately leading to improved performance and sustainability.
Our mutual roles in pushing forward government's agenda. So the relationship has grown, and we're looking to collaborate some more to make sure that government achieves its agenda.
Good corporate governance is assisted by the initiative that the government has of automating the revenue monitoring, collection, accounting of the funds that are earned by government-owned enterprises.
We have made sure that accountability is given a pride of place in what we do. Every member of the board and every member of management has signed an undertaking to not allow their personal interests to come into the consideration.
For the discourse, we have discussed with BP, that's the Bureau for Private Enterprises, and the MOFI, who are the federal government representatives on the board of the discourse, to be more active and entrench or embed more of government governance practices into these discourse operations.
These enterprises can be drivers of economic growth, but they have to operate under corporate governance principles.
Cooperation with MOFI has led to very important milestones, such as, for example, the corporate scorecard, which will be launched today, but also even these efforts to really help put mechanisms so that these enterprises publish their financial statement, get audited on time.
I just think one more form of red flag is dissonance between what is presented to the board and what is the actual position. Once we start seeing the discrepancies between the size of what you tell me and what you actually are, it's for me a fundamental red flag, because it means we're on a chain reaction of misrepresentation.
I think from my own experience, the first thing I would like to identify is clarity in roles and responsibilities. When we don't have clear roles and responsibilities, usually that will, from the beginning, fundamentally rupture the governance structure.
There is this belief that SOEs of government have not performed to their best abilities, and for me it was because of the lack of governance requirements. When I use the word carefully requirements, because there is nobody who has enforced governance and regulations within the state-owned enterprises.
The board composition, how we ensure that the right people are taken to the board, right, to ensure they're able to adhere to this corporate governance. That is very important. So I see some of them having that challenge, the kind of composition of the board, so that there's also an adoption by the board, the buy-in by the board. And this is very, very important.
The Financial Reporting Council, it needs to be strengthened to help portfolio companies have an ease in reporting.
MOFI drive this design of the scorecard with so much passion, commitment, and absolute zeal for transparency, accountability, and sustainability.
And we're able to bring the key stakeholders, who are the portfolio companies, as well as some of the regulators, some of the other government agencies, including our minister, supervising minister who was here, and other ministers that are key for the sector. So from that perspective, I believe that it met the objectives, and we're quite happy and delighted that this happened.
A part of the feedback is that we've seen quite a lot of stakeholder enterprises who wants to really be part of this journey, and they've shown it by making contribution. You will hear from a company MD earlier today who mandated his entire team and even called on the board members to start making contributions.
We already know there is a corporate governance code in Nigeria, but the corporate governance code does not score corporations for compliance, right? And so there's a gap in there that needed to be filled up, and this scorecard is doing exactly that.
You have to be innovative in your processes. You have to be innovative with your staff. Ensure that you provide adequate training for your staffing. It's very important to train staff.
Risk management is, of course, a key cornerstone of good corporate governance practices, because basically when you implement any strategies and we implement better practices at the level of boards, of teams, and ensuring oversight direction, you always have to take risk into account when taking these decisions.
I created a risk management department just because of how large our operations are. There's one person who's both helping all the sort of user departments ensure that their risks are identified and mitigated.
How are we really looking at our performance? Is a performance just about economic development, about profits sharing for one side of the stakeholders, which is the shareholders, or for the government to say we are winning, while the citizens are saying we don't feel it?
Corporate governance is about more transparency, more accountability, more checks and balances, a more prudent management. So I think if SOEs abide by those principles, those standards, those rules, I think there's ultimately a return in terms of performance of financial performance.
There are some things that are material or very important in the Nigerian ESG space that may not be so in the US or UK or other parts of Europe. So you need to be able to customize it to meet your local needs and peculiarities.
We would like to encourage, especially SOEs in Nigeria, to adopt and then ensure that there's that sustainability reporting in their financial reporting, so that they will be able to enjoy that benefit that is already available now across the globe.
So we've come to the end of the MOFI Corporate Governance event in partnership with the World Bank, and I can say that today has been power-packed. Thank you everybody for being here with us.